Thank you for showing up for yourself. Today is all about overcoming procrastination and what you can do, taking those tiny daily steps to get you out of that rut and back on track. Now, just a little bit about myself. My name is Bonnie Clem. I am a certified hypnotherapist, and the modality that I am specialized in is actually rapid transformational therapy. It's a very particular type of hypnotherapy. The traditional hypnotherapist only gives suggestions, which is great and useful. However, when you're dealing with an issue that you've had for a long time, especially procrastination, this is something we've done many times. And as a recovering procrastinator myself, yeah, I can definitely say that's I understand. I feel your pain. So in RTT, what we do is we actually go back to scenes and we discover where the root cause of the issue of the procrastination or the addiction or whatever issue that we are dealing with, whatever that is. And so we go back to the beginning. And from that perspective, as an adult of who you are today, you can see, oh, wait, that makes sense. This particular scene happened to me when I was 7. So from a 7-year-old's perspective, duh, yeah, of course I'm going to interpret it that way. But that's not me. I'm not a procrastinator. Say that's not me. I'm not a 7-year-old anymore or whatever age. Now, I understand hypnotherapy is not for everyone. Totally get it. And also, I mean, the cost is, it's not inexpensive. So in order to facilitate that and also to help people just keep on track, once they've had a session and make sure things, one of the complaints about hypnotherapy is that people say, oh, it doesn't stick. Well, while you're in session, your practitioner should, if they're any good, make you a bespoke recording that actually is your session, the transformation part of your session, so that you can listen to it for a minimum of 22 days. And the reason for that is, as I'm sure you probably know, it takes 10 days to form a weak habit, but that doesn't mean it's going to stick around or you're going to be consistent about it. It takes over 20 days to get that consistency. 30 days, ideal. But if you have more than that, I was 22 days, there's 3 weeks plus a day. The first day you have the session, and then you have 3 weeks that you're actually doing the work, which is a 10 to 15 minute audio recording. And if you can't put that much effort into changing in a day, you probably don't really want to change that badly, or it's just not that important to you, which is fine. Oh, say hi, Sassy. So this is my office / Sassy's bedroom. So, and I believe Chiquita the cat's in here as well. Everyone has to be here, just because I'm not giving them attention, so they need attention. But that's the basics of hypnotherapy and my background. How I ended up in as a hypnotherapist is I actually I came in retail and I was operations manager, but I also always done some work in health and wellness. I had done health wellness blogging for a while, back when you could still actually kind of make money doing it before AI and everything took over. So from there, I studied classical stretch and eccentrics. You may be familiar with Miranda Esmond White's program on PBS, classical stretch. So I did a certification for that and did some teaching, not really my passion. And the other thing I really found out, I discovered while I was teaching my fitness clients, my private clients, was I could walk them through a particular routine and they'd be fine. But as soon as their cognitive mind kicked back in, they're like, oh, I can't do that. Because that memories are actually stored in our bodies. So those memories are, my shoulder, I can't, that, I can't, would stop them from doing something. I knew they could do it. So I mean, there was about 20 to 30% of blocks had nothing to do with physical capabilities. It was 100% mental. And, I have an ex, a couple exes actually, like in the professional sports world. And so I'm very familiar with some of the techniques and things that they professional athletes actually use. And one of them, which I'm sure most of us use, even going down to high school, college certainly, is visualization. Well, a thing you didn't maybe realize is that visualization is just self-hypnosis. That's all it is. There's there's the only difference between self-hypnosis script and meditation, and visualization is honestly your perspective. It's basically the same process if it's done correctly or done well. I shouldn't say correctly. There's many ways to, I won't say skin a cat because Chiquita got mad at me, but there's many ways to make a meal. It only matters what's going to be the best and the most efficient for you. With that said, I want to start with a free offer. Woohoo! Love, 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 free. So if you haven't already or haven't been following me that closely on social media, or you haven't signed up for my email address at clearingyourblocks.com, and if you haven't, why not? Go do it right afterwards. Write that down. So, excuse me, the background music was getting a little bit much, so I'm just gonna dump that for now so I can focus on you. All right. I'm not here for the background music. I'm here for you. All right. 10 more seconds. Okay. All right. All right, back to, I hope maybe you took some time to hop over to clearingyourblocks.com and check it out. But what you want to do is go to clearingyourblocks/books, and you will find, no, I do not have a pretty color printout yet. This is like how fresh off the presses is it? The first chapter of the new book, That's Not Me, I'm Not a Procrastinator. And we're going to be going through it today, but I also want you to print this out and go through it on your own time. You review it. Definitely the more times you review something, the more it's going to stick. And also there may be something that, we all learn differently. You may be more of a reader, like I'm a reader. Like I learn by reading. Not everyone does. Some people love, lectures. I don't have the attention span to do lectures, but you're here, so I'm hoping that you do. And at least I keep things interesting enough to keep you awake here. So let's get into it. So that first chapter, it is free. It's always going to be free. And so you go ahead and download your own and print your own version just for yourself. We're going to go ahead and get into it. So this book takes you through on an educational and transformational journey from awareness and understanding of the reasons why you procrastinate. Then we identify and transform your thought processes or your thought forms so you can finally reincarnate as a new person and live a productive and procrastination-free life. Now, we already talked about who I am. And of course, if you have any questions, just drop them. We'll have areas a little bit later for answering any questions or leave any comments. That's great. So the table of contents, I'm going to be going through portions of this book every week until we're finished with it, and then I'm going to start over. So if you missed a part or you want to review it, sure enough, don't worry, we'll be back. Also, recordings will be available tomorrow, so always the day after. If not sooner. Depends on how well my production my production goes and my energy levels go afterwards. So table of contents, we have getting started, which we're going to go through today. And chapter 2 is awareness, then identification, the transformation, and reincarnation. So just like the caterpillar actually starts out at an egg and goes through 5 different stages, that's where we're going to get you to. So first of all, getting started. Woo, woo, woo. Awesomeness. So if you're like most procrastinators, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, oh God, where do I even start? I don't know how to not procrastinate, right? That was me. So as a recovering procrastinator, I completely understand and feel your pain. But now that I've done it, I can go ahead and bring this information to you free of charge. You're welcome. Just because it's such an important thing. I know you have big and important things, and they may not be, world changing things, but they're important to you and to your family. And that makes a difference in the world overall. So that's why I'm here talking to you to make things better. And what I did to overcome my procrastination was actually turn off the procrastination gene. Well, you may be asking, is there really a procrastination gene? Yes and no. It's not like a DNA gene, particularly. It's more of a thought form gene. Our thoughts that we have regularly actually become living things of their own outside of our conscious control. And then they end up, lodged in our subconscious, and we don't have control over them. So, well, why do we do that? Well, you're kind of screwed. Well, unless you have someone who can help you through the process of going ahead and taking that thought form and eradicating it, eliminating it, and transforming it into a positive thought form. To take it out, I would say RTT is like Krav Maga of therapy. You go in like SEAL Team 6, say, okay, identify the target. Go in, take him out, make sure it's not coming back. Also, put in place some safeguards to make sure that they're not getting out again, that this things are not coming back. That's the recording. That's the ongoing process that you need to do. I don't want to use the term work too much because people are obviously turned off by the term work. Similarly, like any of the practices we do in the book are practices. We're practicing being productive. You've practiced being a procrastinator enough. Yeah, I started writing the book and I originally called them exercises. And as I was working with individual clients, I'm getting this feedback. They're like, I don't want to exercise. I don't like exercising. Oh, do I do so? I get it. Not everyone works in fitness. Not everyone wants exercise. So, I just simple little things to make your life easier. So I changed it to practices. And one of the things that's very important is, the words you tell yourself matter more than any other words. The words matter, and the words you tell yourself matter more than anything else. And if I can assist you in putting the right words in your brain, in your subconscious, to make you productive, to give you that freedom That's what I do. I mean, that's an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity is that I get to give you freedom, freedom from that procrastination. It's like awesome. So what else? I'm gonna guide you through the process of identification and transformation of the blocks, keeping you in a perpetual state of procrastination. You'll start to become aware of the reasons why you procrastinate. And once you've identified the reasons why, you move on to creating a personalized transformation reframe. The subconscious reframe will lead you to a new reality where you are reincarnated as a person without the so-called procrastination gene. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention about genes and environment is, through the science of epigenetics, we know that genes can be flipped on or off and you know, be changed through environment is the number one factor is the environment. But that's not just what you consume. It's not just your foods. It's not just your physical environment. It's just not, like if are you breathing in smog? Are you working in a factory that doesn't have, where working on a farm where you're working fertilizer or whatever position? Are you sitting too much in an office? Your diet, it's also your mental diet. What are you reading? What media are you consuming? What are the thoughts you're thinking? What are you telling yourself? Because it doesn't matter. I can say, "Oh, you're great, you're awesome, you're like so smart, you're like cool," I suck. But it doesn't have the weight of you telling yourself. Whatever you tell yourself is the most important thing. So through this process, we get you to the point where you're telling yourself the most phenomenal things possible, that you actually say, "Hey, I am awesome." You are. We're all awesome. We're human. That's our job, is to be awesome and to do cool stuff and interesting things and follow our passion. That's what we're here for. That's like the point of life. What you say, do, and think affects your mental and your physical health. Use myself as one example. I actually lose my balance and coordination whenever I'm angry. I do. All of a sudden I'll get angry and I'll be like, oh, I'll like trip. Just like I just cannot focus, or like, run into stuff, just, accidentally. It's like I just can't, be walking through something. I'll just like, like hit my shin on things whenever I'm angry. I've seen him turn instantly into a klutz. Um, that's me. You may have like a different emotion, has a different reaction, but I think we all have one that you go, "Oh, okay, that's just lack of self-confidence. That's the anger. That's whatever it is." And for self-confidence, there is a scientifically proven, very simple fix for that, which you may have heard, but the Superman, Superwoman, superhero pose. Let's all do that. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Feet wide. Hello, hello, hello. I'm wired in, so I can't go too far away from us. And you hold this for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Yes. And while we're doing that, I'm going to continue talking. You're like, okay, what the heck does this have to do with procrastination? Yeah, we're talking about a mental transformation today, not a physical transformation necessarily. But as I mentioned earlier, those memories, those thoughts, they are held in your body. So we have to address the entire system. your body is systems within systems within systems. Some we can see, some are physical, some are actually etheric, some are actually outside of our bodies. Our heart actually produces such a strong electrical field that it can be felt 12 to 14 feet outside or away from us in what they call a torus. And if you're not familiar with a torus, it is a shape where it's basically almost like an inverted circle where it goes up and around. Okay, do this with this, do this way. So torus goes up and around and then loops back through your feet. So it goes like this and around and loops back through your feet. And that expands and contracts. So have you ever had this experience where you've actually walked past someone, or like I feel this, I'm very empathetic, where I can drive down the street and someone's driving erratically, and then I just like feel like the pain that they're feeling like in their heart, and I go, oh, okay, hope you're having a better day because that hurts. So you can feel, or the ambiance, like when you walk into the room or you're around a particular person, you just know, oh, what's going on with this person. You can feel it. That's because the electrical charge that's coming out from your heart is actually, I would say, interfering with other people, but it is in other people's space. One of the reasons why personal space is, so many feet away from each other, because the closer you get to someone, the stronger their electrical field is. And so the more you're going to take on and more you're going to feel what they're feeling, which is another thing you need to be careful of, especially as a procrastinator, is don't hang out with other procrastinators. A lot of times the change of scenery works. When I'm writing, I have, I have an office, I have a couple offices, but I actually will go out to like Kava Sutra, like a kava bar, and sit and shell and just like chill, because it's a relaxing environment for me. And when I get there, I'm like, hey, I'm going to write, I'm going to chat, I'm going to be social. It's like, it's my happy space, so then I'm more productive because I'm in the happy space. And if that's, maybe you need to just take a break, go for a walk before you get down, or go somewhere, whatever you need to do to get yourself in that space, do it. It's totally worth it. Now, the first thing we do, as we're going through our process is, I want you to imagine how powerfully you can affect your life by dialing into your subconscious mind and controlling your ants. Now, our ants are not the ones that are crawling around outside on the lanai here. And yeah, they're year-round. I live in Florida. Their ants are a thing. Oh, well. Also because my cats and my dog are very messy eaters. So, oh, well. But the ants that I'm talking about here are your automatic negative thoughts. So think for a moment about what are 5 to 10 of those automatic negative thoughts that you have about procrastination specifically, or just negative ones in general. If you kind of are struggling to come up with 5 or 10, we're going to pause for a second. And I actually suggest, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning, so I apologize, is that you always kind of want to have like a book or journal or some paper whenever you're doing these sessions with me. Now, I go to Dollar Tree and like I've got so many of these. They just forever have like different ideas. And I love them because I have one for every particular different topic that I'm working on. So then there's also organized, but they're tiny. I just throw it right in my bag, even my outside of my lunch cooler if I'm going to the beach. it's great. So let's go ahead and let's take a minute or two and I run you right down 5 to 10 ants. All right, and go. I'm going to do it too. All right, that should be plenty of time, everyone. All right, so I'm going to go first and see if any of these are the same. Probably have totally different ones. So just have an idea of what we're doing here. My first one was, imposter syndrome. Anyone out there suffer from imposter syndrome? Yeah. Address it later in this process. So hang on, we'll get there pretty close. So in a little bit, that's not a problem. So I can't see how something is done. I spent decades telling myself I can't see how something's going to be done, and no wonder I have bad eyesight because I keep telling myself I can't see. Right? Like ridiculous. Another thing is that's not available to me. This is a pretty common thing for procrastination where you go, oh, someone else can do that big, hairy, audacious goal that we had. Someone else can do that, but who am I? Again, a little bit imposter syndrome. We're like, oh, well, that's for other people. That's not for me. And well, you know what? If you can think it, you can do it. Unless there's actual physical limitations, it's doable. Time frame, well, that's another thing. And we all have responsibilities in that. So that's just a couple of ones I had. And you have your own lists and we can review them. We can go through them. Oh, and if you would like or interested, I actually have an offer for you is a free Discovering Your Blocks to Happiness, a Zoom or phone call session, your choice. Not everyone loves to be on camera. I get it. And it's about a 20 to 30-minute discussion where we kind of talk about what's going on, what you think your blocks are, a little bit what happened, where it started, and just get that into your mind as far as from my perspective and my knowledge of, I spent 1 week and actually did like 12 sessions just on procrastination. Like that's all I did. I specialized in procrastination. I did so many sessions, like nearly 100 on procrastination. So I know how to overcome procrastination. Yeah, this is something I know a lot about. So you can certainly be safe. And so if you want to book that clearing your block strategy call session, you can do it. You can find it on any of my social media, but it is Calendarly, CALENDARLY.com/youth serum. So my business is my original business because I came from health wellness is actually youth serum. And I took that to the next level when I add the hypnotherapy along with the physical work. And I actually do have other practitioners that I work with. Like I have a great friend, Coco Cabral, who actually does flamenco, which is awesome. Just fun, fun, fun. That's how she did that to actually cope with cancer. So if you're interested in something like that, definitely let me know. I can hook you up with her because I'm just don't have the time to do all of it, to do the physical side and the hypnotherapy side. I've decided to focus on my passion, which is the hypnotherapy side, which is the mental side. So, but I do have other people and other resources. If you are challenged, like if your major goal is a health one, I'd be happy to do some coaching sessions with you. Because I said there's one, because one of the 5 blocks, there are 5 blocks that can keep you stuck. And it's pretty much all things fall under these 5 things. First one, physical, very obvious, right? We all know what that means. Mental, okay, that's like, oh, I know, I should, I just don't. I know I should, I just don't. And it's like, you just don't. It's a mental block, and it's something that you're aware of, and you just choose to ignore, or you say, I'll do that later, or it's something that, oh, it's not the right time. That's a mental block. Now, subconsciously, it's a third reason, and something that may be going on, and that's my wheelhouse. And 3 to 5 are really where I focus, because that is, what are the subconscious thought forms going on? What are the subconscious patterns that are keeping you stuck, keeping you from ultimate happiness? Well, there are a couple ways to get into your subconscious mind. The easiest and the quickest is hypnotherapy. After that, we're going to actually be using the technique which is called automatic writing, where you just write until you're done. You write it down, and you do have to physically write it down. It does not work as effectively if you type it. I know, I'm sorry, it sucks. And I have a digital journal and I love it, but if you really want change, you do have to physically write it down. There's the science behind it, is that the physical act of writing something down actually creates a deeper groove, more deeper identification, and is more likely to stick. So yeah, definitely do have paper, journal, whatever you need throughout this entire process. All right? Awesome. Moving on from there, we're going to continue on reviewing the book. This whole process is designed to bypass your mind, because it thinks it knows everything. We're going to go below the liminal. And the liminal is the line between the conscious and the subconscious mind. So the known and the unknown. And you may have heard, subliminal, like subliminal messages. Well, that's hypnotherapy. That's programming. That's why you hear something enough times, it gets into your subconscious. That's because it worked its way below the liminal. And just for a little bit of perspective and how important this process is, your subconscious is not simply where your memories live. It's a portion of you that's actually in control of pretty much everything, unless you're actively thinking about it. Your subconscious is controlling it. From your autonomous system, which, when's the last time you thought about beating your heart or like digesting food? Never, right? It's just something your body does. It keeps you breathing, and also like as a response to, it's in control of your flight, fight, freeze, or fawn responses. Your subconscious is even in charge when you are on, autopilot, driving to work before you finish your first cup of coffee. Like we have all experienced that, right? My mentor, I study with, the world famous Marissa Peer, and she also is a developer of RTT, rapid transmotional therapy. One of the things that she often reminds her clients and students when I study with her is that the mind's only job is to keep us alive. I mean, that's awesome, an important duty, of course. But I mean, sadly, the coping mechanisms we learn along the way, they get stuck in the developmental rut. What makes sense from, the perspective of a 7-year-old, doesn't really work for a grown-up version. I mean, fortunately, the fact that you're here today shows me that you are ready to move forward with your life and release your habit of procrastination. And that's great, because I want you to know you can do it. All you have to do is keep going every day. It's that simple. Not asking for a lot of time. We're going to go through a guided meditation, which will always be also be available tomorrow on the website for you to download and listen to yourself. And so, you'll have everything you need going through this process to go for procrastination. I mean, I do have to warn you that it may take you a couple of problems have a tendency to have layers. And something like procrastination can be simple. It could have been like a trauma, like a mean teacher. There's so many teachers that screwed up people. It really pisses me off. You have like no idea how many teachers screwed up people, even more than parents, weirdly enough. Although, back to my list of other blocks, they could, we have number 4 and number 5 is parental or family. My father, his thing was, fear of failure, and I inherited that. I realized that was his problem, not mine, and my life's a lot easier knowing that and releasing that particular trauma. But it took me a while to get there and to realize that, it was just his lifestyle. It didn't have to be mine. And then finally, we're looking at what I call cultural, or, we're looking at past life. So your past life or the conscious, unconscious, we're all, just like we all feel each other's energy fields. Well, we're all linked in to everything. We are all connected in this world on Earth. We're all part of the, if you want to call it collective consciousness, we're all bits of God. We're all bits of, source, whatever your beliefs are or how your beliefs are. You cannot deny that, we inherit things that happened. I was born during Vietnam, and even though I was a baby, it really colored, it really changed everything about my life. It was unique because of, how small my generation was. There wasn't a lot of us born as Gen Xers. There just weren't. So many fathers were gone, and ones that came back, or uncles, or father figures came back, they were not the same. They had issues. They had been drafted, and gone through terrible things. It was very dark period, and that colored a lot of my childhood and just the way I grew up, because Vietnam was the most significant event in my life, because it was always looming there. It shaped who I became. And that's what I mean as far as like your ancestral or collective consciousness, like cultural. You are a product partially of where and when you're born and what was going on in the world. The world events do affect it. I mean, I have a dear friend whose birthday is September 11th, and it sucks to have my birthday on September now. Just random, normal September. I mean, nothing burger day, but now it's always going to be not just her birthday. So that, back to making change. So seeing how life can affect you. Your mind always wants to move you toward pleasure and away from pain. I mean, so naturally, you know, the change is the difficult part that can be uncomfortable. And what we have to do in order to change a habit is to make the familiar unfamiliar and the unfamiliar familiar, which there's a process there where you're like, have to go swap, and it can take some time. Important to be, direct, or honest with yourself. Let's put it that way. I want to be direct and say, you may have to go through this process a couple times because there may be some layers. It may be deep family trauma, may also be things that you've learned over the ways and reinforced it many, many, many times. If you have any sort of like chronic PTSD, like I've suffered from, it does take a little bit more work. But I'm here to, walk you through the process, however long it takes, we'll get you there. If any questions, raise your hand, reach out to me. I'm available. The other thing that I want you to really understand, because I'm sure this probably applies to pretty much everyone out there, is this, well, I've tried to not be a procrastinator before. Well, if you've read the first chapter already, or know me well, you probably know the story of my late boyfriend, Jim. Well, for the 6.5, almost 7 years we were together, he tried to quit smoking, which means that he didn't. He just didn't. The term try is actually a misdirect because you can't try. You're either doing something or you're not. There's no try. So when someone says, I'm going to try, especially, going to try, it's like, oh, makes me just like, oh, see, right? I'm like, you're not. You're just not. I'm like, so you're not? That's one of the ways you can really tell if someone's ready for change or not. And I see this a lot when I'm working with addicts because they go, well, I'm going to try starting after my birthday. And I'm like, oh, so you're not going to. And they just go, oh, I'm like, no, you're not going to. If it was important to you, you would start today. Like you have. It's important enough for you to start today. And you did. And I'm so proud of you for being here, because the one thing, it's actually the only thing that we can never get back, is time. So if you're spending your time thinking I shoulda, woulda, coulda, well, things you could have been doing while you're procrastinating, well, that's the problem. And thinking that procrastination is a habit, which it is, you've tried to overcome it by breaking the habit, which can be done, but using willpower alone is really the hard way to do it. It is. I mean, there are way easier ways to do it. First you want to look at, where does habit come from, and where does it form? In layman's term, you think a thought, you thought it enough times, said it enough times to yourself that it actually becomes its own thought form. Thought forms are living things again outside of your conscious control, and they affect how you feel and act. Once you lose control of a thought form because it's moved into your subconscious below that liminal, once it's below that liminal, you don't really have control over it because it's the unknown. It's not known to your conscious anymore. So then your chronic thoughts, that's when it becomes a habit. And this all habits affect the way you feel, act, perceive reality. And eventually becomes who you are. Say, well, I'm a procrastinator. Well, yeah. Do you really want to be a procrastinator? Guessing not, because you're here. I mean, here's one way to put it, and it's a little bit harsh. I apologize, but it's true. Ask yourself this question. Do you want your eulogy to be full of stories about how your procrastination affected your friends and family? Do you? Yeah, it is harsh, but it's true. Or do you want people to remember all the amazing things you accomplished once you stepped up and took care of your procrastination? Choice is yours. It's not a difficult choice. It's just a matter of doing just a teeny tiny bit of work to get that stuckness undone and just changing a habit. It's not, well, I say it's not, it's not like brain surgery, but it is brain science. And all you need to remember is every decision has consequences. So whenever you think you're going to slide back or go back into procrastination, remember that not making a decision is still making a decision not to do something. So whenever you decide to procrastinate, you reinforce that. So make a mental note of this and go, oh, wait, I'm doing it again. I don't want to do that. Make it uncomfortable. Make it, well, if I'm procrastinating, maybe I have to do 25 push-ups. I personally hate push-ups. So that's my like, oh God, I'm gonna sit here. I'm like, well, if I'm not gonna do something, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna think about it. I'm like, well, gotta do my push-ups. It's like, oh, okay, fine. I'll just start writing, or whatever the task is. And the other important thing about there's so many important things about overcoming procrastination, but you really need to be aware that small efforts create big momentum over time. And it's way more important to keep going every day than to power through this process quickly. Because if you just go read through it, it's like, oh yeah, this is easy to read. Just read it. You're not going to absorb it. You're not going to take the time to actually let the concepts, this change, like sink into your subconscious. It's not going to stick. And so why waste your time? Take your time, do it right. That's one of my things is I like to do things once the right way. And it takes a little bit more planning, but having to redo things drives me freaking batty. For instance, I actually had planned on publishing the book. That's not me. I'm not a procrastinator. December 1st, but I about a little about halfway through it, and I absolutely hated the format. I'm like, this is not going to work for what I want to do. It's just not. So I threw it out, went back to the drawing board, and I had to like just figure out like how I'm going to get this, like how am I going to put this in a format that's going to work? Because just text was not going to work. Like the format I had, it was just text, and I'm like, this is not going to work. I need examples. I need to break it up. I need more visuals, because so much information. I don't want to make the writing so dense that you just kind of your eyes glaze over and you're like give up with it. That's that's not going to help anyone. There's no point in doing that. So I've taken the time to go back and rewrite it, which is why where January is going to be finished in February instead of November. But it's important to have things done right for me. But going through this process, all you really need is 30 minutes a day, honestly. Things you do need to do is listening to audio recording, which I'll provide to you, and then read a few pages, do an exercise if you have time. But the most important thing, if you don't have time to do anything else, is to listen to the audio recording, because that's going to put you in the mindset of a productive person. Another thing is, just like exercise, once you do something for 7 minutes, you give yourself 7 minutes. I'm going to read for 7 minutes. Once you started, you get past 7 minutes, there's a good chance you're going to keep going. Like if you have time to do it, if you can fit in your schedule. I mean, you can do this lunch break. It's great at breaks. When I worked in retail, I would bring in, I was like, well, how can you like proof like 2 pages on break? I'm like, because I'm using a completely different skill set. It's a completely different topic. It has nothing to do with what I'm working on, in real life. It's great to swap that focus. Plus, I get the added bonus of like, oh, look how darn productive I am, and it keeps my brain, it allows your brain to decompress enough from whatever task you were working on, so then you can go back to it, which is very important to give your brain that decompression time. I love, I can't always take an afternoon nap, even though, God, I would if I could. But I have a couple shorter recordings that are, just about 10 minutes long, and I will take some time just to listen to it, just to have the 10 minutes of positive suggestions coming into my brain is like so awesome. It just makes such a difference, just that little bit of a break in your day. So, it's about doing little things and keep going. Like I said, keep going every day is the number one most important thing you can do. So I'm just about finished. Like we're almost finished with chapter 1. You believe this? Wow, wow, wow. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. All right. So we have a couple exercises to finish up this chapter. The first one is, and write down, today I accomplished. Go. Mm-hmm. All right. And then doesn't have to be paragraphs and paragraphs, and just highlights. All right. The next one is, tomorrow I will accomplish. Now, before I start writing, be realistic. Start with 3 to 5 things, and then prioritize by 3, the top 3 that would have the biggest impact in your life going forward. And then for your overall, this week I will accomplish, you can make a say over the weekend or next week, because depending on when you're watching this, it may not be Sunday. I like to prep for my week on Sunday. This is a pro tip, by the way. I like everyone I know who's senior executive, they do all their planning on Sunday afternoons. And okay, this week I will accomplish, again, 5 or so big projects and little ones, and then you could break down to every day when you get up, and you could break it down further. But you want to do this every night and have that in your mind. So when you wake up, you're not going, oh God, what am I going to do today? You have it. You have a plan. You're thinking about it all night long while you're dreaming, while you're sleeping. So you already know what you got to do. Don't have to worry about it. Right? So congratulations. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Just give yourself a major win today. What I want you to do, stick with me, is wrap your hands around your shoulders like this. Give yourself a hug. Woohoo, yay. And a pat on the back, because you deserve it. Not only that, every time you cross over your body like this, you're actually strengthening the connections between the hemispheres of your brain, which is super awesome little tip. you know, because you're here, you deserve it, you're worth it, you're enough. And most importantly, a procrastination free life is available to you. Why? Because you're lovable. You're lovable. You're you. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're alive means that you can be productive. I'm just here to give you the skills to ensure that you are. All right, so now that we have that one done, let's go. Do you have any questions? All right, I'm getting an error message here. Let me see if I can fix that. Doesn't like my frame rate, so I hope everyone can see me okay. Okay. Well, I do have this on Zoom, so if Facebook doesn't look great, then I always have my backup. I know better than not to. All right. Any other questions? So I don't have any questions. All right, no comments. So nothing that we need to address. Great. So let's go into the next practice. This is actually not in the book. I know I think I'm probably going to add it to that. I do, because I just love it. This is something I've just finished. I won't say developing, but I want to say I think fine tuning. So I've done some other studying and brought that in, put together is actually a quantum daily review journal practice, which I found to be like super, super helpful. So there's actually 4 questions to it. And the first one is, what went right today? What would you rather forget? What would you change? And what would your day have looked like if it was perfect? So let's go ahead and again, get our little notebooks here. I wasn't kidding. It's actually some action. You have to do some of the work, some of the practice, some of the change. It's on you. So what went right today? What, if anything, would you rather forget to happen? Okay, that should be a short one. What would you change about your day? And these can be things that you may not be in control of. Just like if the universe, could have changed things, what would it be? So then that brings us to the final question, which is really the quantum part of it. So we're actually going to rewrite. Yeah, we're going in your subconscious and we're going to rewrite history. You can't change history, at least in your mental mind. Say, what would your day have looked like if it was perfect? So all those things you said, oh, I wish that didn't happen. I want to change that. All right, so what would your life look like without those problems? And go. Oh, and be specific. Pro tip. All right, everyone, let me know in the comment section when you are kind of ready to go. Finish. I want to see a couple comments here say, wait, not moving on without you. Don't worry. We still got plenty of time. I want you to really take your time and write out and think about it. Really feel it. Maybe even reread it and go, "Ooh, what did that feel like? That'd be awesome. That'd be freaking amazing, you know? What is that? What are those things that you want? What would have happened if life was perfect? It doesn't have to be, but we can imagine it, can't we? And imagination is just visualization. And well, we already had that discussion. We know where that goes. You say it enough times, you think enough times, it goes into your subconscious, and it changes how you feel and act and live. And also, oh, this is a really important point, how you react to other people changes how they react to you. Yeah. All right, so everyone kind of finishing up a little bit. Are we close? I'll give you like another minute. So I'd actually, I don't want to say cheated, but I know I'd been working through this process a little bit earlier when I was reviewing, putting together the format and the agenda for this meeting. I actually had like, so as I was doing this, my brain was already working. So I'm going to actually take a sip of some tea and a little kratom. Excuse me. Oh, that's good. Yum, yum, yum. I love fresh lemon and raw agave. Perfect, 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 perfect. All right, one more minute. That's where one more minute. All right. Feel free after the stream, which is only another like not even 30 minutes. So we're almost all the way done. Can you believe that already? Wow. Woohoo. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, when you're like learning, right? I hope no one's falling asleep yet. I think so. Anywho, what we're going to do next is I'm actually going to, oh, if there are any questions, any questions? Drop in the comments, but we're actually going to move on to the guided meditation, which then when you do it yourself is going to be your self-hypnosis script. So if there are no questions, yes, and I'm, yeah, came in a little bit late. Yes, everything will be available. It's going to be on clearingyourblocks.com website, and there will be a post there, and I'm maybe live in the resources. I may also have it live on YouTube or on Rumble. May live a couple different places. I'm still trying to figure out what's the easiest way for everyone to kind of find things as I throw out my tens of thousands of pages of information. It's tad bit it's a lot, but all things are going to be linked somehow in the clearingyourblocks.com or UseCernet app. They're going to be, those websites right now are merged. So if you go to either one, you're going to end up the same space, the same place. And so I'm making a large index to kind of cover all questions you could possibly have. So that's where the best place to go. And also, if you have not yet, sign up for my email address, and you can do that through the website or just send me a message and I'll add you to, drops on any new articles. I like to send out links like once a week, just so not like a ton of email. The only time you'll get like multiples is like, hey, Thursday's coming up, and just reminder emails, but no big deal. Reminders, otherwise once a week, it's like, hey, what's new? What articles I've written on LinkedIn or website or wherever articles I have, Substack, I may be doing some more there. And so I'm, be linking, but you'll have the resource. You can always like search. It's going to be clearinyourblocks.com is going to be the main website for right now. So always go there for resources or anything you need to know. But if you don't have any other questions, no. All right. Let's get to it. This is the fun part. All right. And you can go ahead, turn off your video and, just sit back, relax. For the next few minutes, all you need to do is just listen, just relax, just take it all in. Make yourself comfortable. And you're going to want to sit in an open position. And what that means is, you don't necessarily want your legs crossed. You want to have your arms open, a comfortable position. Nothing's, it's like we're going to be in a receiving position is best way to say it. It's like open, receiving, relax, shake your hands. Here's a pro tip from fitness. If you have any sort of pain, like up your shoulder, this arm you can see better, up your shoulder, all the way up to your shoulder into your neck, make your hands super floppy. Your hands floppy, it has to release the tension all the way up your shoulders. So shake this out for a minute. Let's do it. Let's just do that. Shake your hands out. Breathe. Like, oh, all right. Yeah. Let go of all that. Letting go. Just letting go. That's the things that we're going to do here is let go of those false thought forms. Let them out into the universe so they're not affecting you. Someone else can have them if they want them, or they can just float off into space where they belong, right? So just start by taking a few deep breaths to relax and release any tension you may be holding in your body. All right. Already there. Already there. Great. And I want you to picture your breath coming into and out of the area around your heart. Picture your heart breathing life and love into yourself and back out into the universe through that torus. The heart energy space that circles back around to you. So everything that goes out also comes back to you. What you put out in the universe comes back to you. So put out happy. It's what you want. Your breath is bringing in happiness, relaxation, and any other positive emotions that you need right now. That energy field is one that grounds and surrounds you. So whatever is in that field is what you're going to have. It's going to affect everything in your life for the next little bit. So as you breathe through your heart, you may feel a sense of calmness or euphoria coming upon you, or even just a deep sense of relaxation or connection. Whatever you feel this moment is right. It's correct. It's exactly what you need right now. It's the positive emotion that your subconscious mind has picked for you because it knows exactly what you need to prepare for this transformation. And as you breathe in once again, and out. When you take your next breath, leaving your chin remaining level, look up as high as you can with your eyes, as if you're just like you're looking into your own eyebrows. You can probably see me if you're not sure what I mean. Go ahead and hold them there. Keep looking up and looking up. Pretending like there's an imaginary spot overhead that you're looking at. And that fluttering feeling that you feel in your eyes, well, that's a burst of REM, a rapid eye movement. And what it's doing is putting you into a perfect, highly suggestible brainwave state where you can now do the work towards removing the blocks, keeping you from your goal of stopping the procrastination. You'll let your subconscious do the work. You don't have to do it consciously. Let your subconscious do this. Let your subconscious change. So on your next exhale, go ahead and close your eyelids and just let your eyelids go wherever they are the most comfortable. You can forget all about your eyes and the fluttering feeling. I can see, this happening. I know that you're responding, and that's perfect. Just allow a drifting, floating, relaxing feeling to develop in your body. You should be in a relaxed state, open and aware of your surroundings, but with your conscious mind in a temporary state of lowered awareness. As you communicate directly with your subconscious mind and ask for its help in creating positive momentum towards your goal of stopping this procrastination. Now, just let your chin drop down a little bit so you get that looking down feeling you have when looking over a balcony or the top of a tall flight of stairs. I want you to picture yourself at the top of a short flight of 10 steps. And as you do this, you feel the muscles and nerves in and around your eyes becoming heavy, droopy, drowsy. Your eyelids are starting to feel as if they have been glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. And now you're moving on to step 10 as each muscle, each nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 9 and you can see your feet, hear your feet, even feel your feet making contact with every step as you go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. You take step 8, going deeper and deeper into an awareness of yourself. You're taking step 7, drifting way down, deeper and deeper and deeper. You're taking step 6, and you're drifting deeper with every sound around you. You hear every sound and noise and any movement around you. They're just carrying you deeper and deeper and deeper and further into your subconscious. You're taking step 5. You're halfway down. And with every step, you go 10 times, 100 times deeper. You take step 4 as every muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 3. Just go deeper, drift deeper, sinking deeper. You're taking step 2. And as you go deeper and deeper into awareness of yourself, you take step 1 and you just sleep deeply. And of course, you're not going to sleep. You're just in a highly suggestible state, which is simply a sleep of the nervous system. You're going deeper, drifting deeper, sinking deeper. Just go deeper and deeper and deeper and even deeper. And every time I click my fingers and say the word sleep deeply, you're becoming more and more and more relaxed. Just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. And as you go deeper into an absolutely relaxed state, you're responding easily, effortlessly, perfectly, exactly the way you are. You don't need to make anything happen. You can just let it happen. Hypnosis is a sleep of the nervous system. It's not about being asleep. It's about being suggestible. And I'm just going to show you right now just how incredibly suggestible you are. I'm going to tell you that your eyes are glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. So much so that the thought of opening them is something you really just can't be bothered with. Your eyes are sealed shut, fused shut, locked together. Just trying to open your eyes and find that they are locked shut. You go deeper. Try to open your eyes. Find they're sealed tight. Go deeper. And just one more time, try to open your eyes and find they are glued together. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper. That's perfect. You're responding perfectly, exactly as I knew you would, because you are incredibly suggestible. You've come here today to start the process of overcoming procrastination. And as you go deeper, you know that understanding is a power, and understanding hypnosis is the most liberating, the most freeing, the most extraordinary power. Now, your beliefs are yours to change, and you are changing them right now in the most wonderful, beneficial, and supportive way. You are now upgrading, installing new beliefs. The mind responds to what you want, and what you want is to work daily towards your goals without hesitating. The fact that you are here today, that you're listening to this recording today, shows me that your intuition knows that you are ready to start being productive again, because you are now confident. Everything is available to you. You are highly motivated and in control. And with your phenomenal coping skills and your ability to handle all situations skillfully, you easily achieve your goals. You link images of huge, phenomenal, enormous pleasure and success to completing projects, to working towards your goals every day. Knowing that while you're doing this, your brilliant mind is moving you toward pleasure, because that's his job. Because everything you can conceive of, you can achieve. It's available to you. You have decided to do this for yourself. So you have a feeling of unwavering, unshakable conviction and certainty that you can do this. Then you can be productive. You can work towards your goals every day. You constantly think, see, and believe in your mind's ability to make this work. In fact, it's already working right now. Working today. You have the confidence, the motivation, and the power to complete any project or reach any goal you begin. And you're motivated to keep going because you know intuitively this is the right time. Everything is aligned for success. And you have the most amazing, phenomenal coping skills and belief that you're able to handle all situations skillfully because you have the desire to succeed and you're in control of your destiny. You have the self-confidence, the self-assuredness, and the knowledge that everything is available because you are worthy, you are enough, and you are willing to just keep going every day and just go for it. You will wake up every day feeling refreshed and ready to start your day because you made that plan the night before. So you know exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to accomplish your goals, how you're going to make the time to actually be so as successful as you know you can be, because you are ready to move forward, right? now, because now is at absolute perfect timing. So you move forward and you begin without hesitating. Because you have such a strong desire to take action just as soon as possible. You take immediate action and you do so with massive amounts of self-confidence and motivation. You do this with complete self-assuredness, with complete self-confidence. You have the desire, the motivation to move forward. It's become such a powerful, all-pervasive part of you that you become excited to get started. You're so excited, you want to start like immediately. The self-confidence overrides any old negative thought patterns that kept you in a state of procrastination, because now is the right time, and because you know this both intuitively and intellectually, your desire to move forward and complete everything you want is so strong. You consistently and immediately motivated to act, to launch into the world, launch your projects into the world, to move forward with ease and confidence. You're becoming more and more motivated to act, and you have the personal drive and focus to consistently move forward with any project. You notice immediately that you have a burning desire to act from this day forward. And you love playing this recording. You play it all the time because it's such a powerful, healing, wonderful effect on you. You make the time and take the time to listen to it because its effects are so noticeable. The more you play this recording, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more you play it. The more you play it, the more productive you are. As my voice goes with you, it has the most profound, the most powerful, the most permanent, and the most healing effect on you. So now, keeping the words you've just heard with you as I count you back to full awareness by counting up to 5, unless you are listening to this recording before bedtime, in which case a deep restorative sleep will come to you and you will remain sleeping until the absolute ultimate wake-up time. So on the count of 1, notice the feeling coming back into your hands and feet. On the count of 2, you're aware of the room and the sounds and your surroundings just a tad bit more. On the count of 3, you take a deep breath in, and on 4, you exhale. On the count of 5, go ahead and open your eyes, feeling amazing, feeling free as you fill up your lungs with another deep breath and come back to complete awareness. Welcome back. Thank you. Give you just a second to come back and relax. Pop it in the comments if you have to say, ooh, how did that feel? Are you all relaxed now? Are you hyped up to start get going? There's two ways to go. Either like gets you hyped up, or you go, oh, I need to decompress. So I need to listen to that again. You get that going. And a lot of times I'll listen to a recording. The first couple of days I'll listen to a couple times just so my subconscious can get a little more used to it, or be like, oh, it's a little more familiar. Okay. I find that helps. But again, minimum, you have to do recording every, oh, hi, that's, probably can't see, the video's not great, but that was Sassy's tail in the background. She's decided that that's her bed. She's adorable, so she gets away with it. All right, so we have just, wow, not quite 6 minutes left. So with that, I have, some exciting news. So if you stayed with me to the end, this is really cool because a couple things. Well, you may be aware that our TT session is actually $400. And I mean, That includes the entire 30-day experience, not just like, 90 minutes to 2 hours of the session. But because we've all survived COVID, I've decided for the year of 2023, I'm actually cutting that price in half. Literally cutting everyone a break because I need you out there doing what you need to be doing ASAP. So that's my gift to you. To get your butt going, book your call, book an intake. And again, you step through Calendly and email me to do a session, to an actual intake, because, the fact that you actually showed up here tells me that you're serious about changing. So in addition to the free clearing your block strategy call, in addition to the $200 off, $200 off. You have that, and that includes your call, the intake call, which we'll do after you go through a form that has every question you need to know, so I can do like a ton of prep and have everything done and customized, because every session is customized to you, even though it may be a general topic like an addiction or procrastination. The session is completely 100% tailored to you and what you're looking to get out of it. Something to be aware of. But I also have follow-up, because I believe in integration. And one of the reasons why hypnotherapy people says it wears off or doesn't work for them is because the hypnotherapist just go, okay, here's your suggestion, and then they're done. I don't feel comfortable with that. I actually work with psychotherapists who refer clients to me who have an issue that it just works better for hypnotherapy, or there's certain things you just don't want to talk to your therapist about. I mean, I've done that, right? Like I don't feel comfortable, but in hypnotherapy is just a more open, 100% confidential environment. And as far as working with your own therapist, in addition to that, I will share what you want me to share with your therapist, if anything. That's completely 100% up to you, and we will decide that before we're done with your session, or up before the session. We'll go through that. Anything, it's up to you. It's your information, and it's totally kept away. So I actually will follow up with you, the next day. I'm going to follow up with you, within 2 days, usually about 48 hours after the session, depending on, it was more near evening. I mean, you get like the next day. Depending on how the time frame falls out. I just make sure you're like able to access the recording, make sure that you're on track. If you have any questions, anything popped up, post session, a lot of times, because it can be emotional, oh, okay, yeah, this now I have, I need a download about this thing that popped up. I'm here for you to do that. And then also, a week out, I want to touch base with you to see if you're seeing changes. And also, then 3 weeks out, you've done that, 3 weeks plus 1 day, 22 days is the magic number for me, that I want you listening to that recording as a minimum. And at that point, we need to evaluate, next steps. You're comfortable where you're at? Do you want to do more? Do you want to attack a different issue? Because I'm not going to take it like try to fix more than one issue at a time, because your mind's just going to go, I don't know what you want me to do. You have to pick one, and they'll be decided within it. So you have all that follow-up, unlimited email and text follow-up for 30 days from the time, and that's 30 days counting once you purchase a session. So if you have any questions, like as you're going through the intake, filling out the intake form, or you're just want to know something, or came across something, or you're not sure, or like have a question, or like what can I do now, or you want maybe some exercises, or practices to do, prep yourself for the session to get your brain going. I'm happy to provide this to you. Of course, there's always resources, including yourblocks.com. But all right, back to the fun, cool, awesome part is because you watch this video, when you make an appointment, email info@clearingyourblocks.com to set up an appointment. And for the payment link, because if you do that directly, you'll actually receive another $50 off. Now, that brings it down to $150, which I always look at my cigarette smokers and go, so how long does it get you? And they kind of blush and they're okay, no eye contact and go, yeah, I know. So just think of how much value you have out of this, $150. I mean, that's at least in Palm Beach, that's a steak, right? That's a steak and a couple drinks. I mean, legitimately, it's not a ton of money, and to be able to do that. Oh, and also, if you refer someone to me, you get a $50 referral, which you can either keep for yourself as or you can keep for yourself and actually get the check, or Zelle, or however you want the payment, or you can hang on to it for your account and apply it to another session, or coaching sessions, or a Centrix classical stretch session. Like any services I offer, you can apply it to that, or you can gift it to the person that you are referring. And I have a lot of people who will gift their referral fee to, say, their daughter, to their kids, or to, a friend. And so that actually is another opportunity for you as referrals. So, and of course, share this event. We're going to be doing this every Thursday at, I know that was wrong. We had the wrong timing. It was 9, it's actually 8. Originally, I know there's a couple, it was posted at 9, but anyway. So going forward, it's 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Maybe moving it to 7 if I get feedback, because I do have a lot of clients in Europe that would love to hop on, but it's middle of night. So I may have to offer a couple different times on Thursdays, but give me feedback, let me know, say as a time that work for you. If I have enough demand, I will make that change. I just do Thursdays because I have actually ongoing clients I see every Thursday for physical fitness. And so I always know after that I have time, because I'm not going to schedule more than maybe one hypnotherapy session in between, because it's just too difficult to schedule. But anyway, oh, and the other thing is, so my sessions are 100% virtual. I do have a home in Palm Beach area. I can actually, if you are in Palm Beach area, I can actually visit or come to you. Some people like to do that, but I mean, if you're going through a therapy session, why not do it from home, right? No one has to see you. Don't have to get dressed, don't have to put on makeup, which is a good thing in case you had some trauma and start crying, which is about 80% of the time. That there's some point where you're just letting go. So, I make it as easy as possible. Just sit in your bed with your laptop, relax. Just awesome. That's how I do my RTT therapy sessions that way, and I love it. I get up and I give myself some time, and then it's coffee, then I can sit hang with the dog, and it's chill. It's awesome. But if you have any other questions, I don't see any in the comments, the chat. So I'm going to actually sign off. We're just about 5 minutes over. But as important, I wanted to share all that information, all the fun stuff, and cool. And I think we got a ton of work done today. So I want to sign off, say with love and blessings. Until next time, bye.